for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by Talking Rocks Cavern. Explore the beauty above and below ground at Talking Rocks Cavern. And the Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Happy Friday to you. The weekend is here. It's going to be hot, not as hot maybe, but we'll talk about that. And, of course, Abby's got your weather over on Wake Up Weather, a different podcast you can find in your same podcast space. But we will begin with news.
The major theft ring that targeted catalytic converters in Springfield is back in the headlines today. A man who's formerly from the Queen City was just sentenced in federal court for his role in that. 38-year-old Leslie Ice and his wife Danielle were both sentenced. Leslie Ice got 30 months in prison. Danielle got 18 months. Both have to pay back $1,300. Investigators say thousands of catalytic converters were stolen in Springfield, Greene County, and Southwest Missouri so that the thieves could turn them in for the money that comes with the precious metals that are found in catalytic converters. Anywho, there were 7 people at least in that ring, causing at least $1 million in car repairs for people who were hit.
I was going to say, I hope that's enough, because this was a very, very disruptive ring. Remember when we were in news, we were covering these catalytic converters constantly. Charities were being affected, people all over the Ozarks. So, I mean, it seems like this was it, because we haven't had those thefts here lately.
Yeah.
So I hope that's enough punishment to prevent this from happening again.
Well, 7 people in the ring, and I believe that these 2 were actually the last 2 to get sentenced. So everybody else has already been sentenced, and the ring leader got longer than that. So hopefully, because yes, it's an expensive crime for people. So, all right, now to this. A teenager from Nixa is in the hospital after the golf cart that she was a passenger in crashed into a car. The golf cart's 15-year-old driver was not hurt. So serious injuries, they said. I don't know what that means exactly, like how she is doing this morning, but man, that is scary.
Well, those golf carts are popular in some neighborhoods now. A lot of kids, we have them in our neighborhood, kids driving around on golf carts. So
yeah. Yeah, you can do some damage though. So
yeah, I know, clearly.
The Dadeville Fire Department assistant chief was killed when he ran off the road and overturned. Apparently, he was trying to move over in a big oil distributor truck that he was driving so that another oncoming car that was a wheel loader would have room to pass by him along Route V, just west of Mount Vernon. 38-year-old Fire Chief Charles Toller was killed. His coworkers say that he's always willing to step up and do whatever needed to be done. He also worked for MoDOT for more than 15 years as a senior equipment technician.
Sad. You hate to hear that.
So young. Yeah.
Recreational marijuana will be on the ballot in some local cities on August 8th, specifically a tax about recreational marijuana. Springfield and Forsyth are 2 of them. Both cities will ask voters to approve a 3% tax on the sale of recreational pot. That will be, of course, on top of the current 6% tax the state put on sales. Right now, Springfield is the largest city in the state to not already have a local sales tax on the recreational pot sales since statewide voters approved it last fall. So it seems like it's probably just a matter of this vote, but looks like that tax, it's gone through everywhere else. It'll probably go through here. A man claiming to be a whistleblower about UFOs got a lot of attention. You probably heard about that this week on Capitol Hill. One guy not buying a story is Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson. He fell back on the state's famous catchphrase, "Show me," the show me state. The so-called whistleblower, who happens to be a retired Air Force intelligence officer, claimed the government had him try to reverse engineer alien spacecraft for years and is now lying, and has been forever, lying to the public about it. Congressman Burleson said it all sounds pretty far-fetched to him. So we'll see. We know there's been a lot more speculation about UFOs. They call them something different now, but they're basically UFOs. There's been a lot of video taken from U.S. military aircraft, of things in the sky. You could hear the pilots talking about, I don't know what that is, but it's not behaving like anything I've ever seen. And that really not behaving according to the laws of physics as we know them. So I don't know.
I don't know. It seems crazy. But I mean, obviously, if this guy is an Air Force intelligence officer, then he's not crazy, you know?
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not crazy. Remember
Well,
the NASA astronaut who drove across the country with a diaper on?
yeah. So that
You
was
ca-
wild.
Yeah, that was wild. That was crazy. So, you assume they're not crazy, but there's going to be a couple that are crazy. I'm not saying he is, just saying you don't know. You can't make that assumption, especially these days. Roundabouts seem to be all the rage these days, kind of like diverging diamonds were about 10 years ago. Everybody had to have a diverging diamond. Republic is excited about its newest roundabout located at Hines Street and Lynn Avenue. It's now open, constructed ahead of schedule, even. It was part of a sales tax that was passed, paying for it was part of a sales tax passed in 2017 for capital improvements in Republic. And I'm not a huge fan of diverging diamonds, but we have one near us. And I got to tell you, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like him. I don't know
I
why
don't
you
mind
have
it.
to say that you're not a fan.
Well,
It's
because I was
okay.
opposed to him. I was opposed
It's
to it
okay.
before it went in.
You were opposed to them before you knew what they were.
No, I knew what they were. I just didn't think it would work in our area.
Turns
But
out he's not an engineer. Shocking, I know.
I think the
I
bigger
know.
news is, turns out every now and then I can be wrong. Not very often. Not very often, but occasionally.
Oh, that was good.
And
That
now,
was good.
unfortunately, there's a daily record of me saying crap.
Yep. Crap. Yep, it's true.
Yeah.
All right. It was a good second quarter for O'Reilly Automotive. Congratulations to them. The Springfield-based car parts chain saw an increase in net income of almost 9%, and revenue was up nearly 11%. Meanwhile, the company is getting a new CEO. Current CEO Greg Johnson will retire in January after 41 years with the company,
Wow.
including the last 5 as CEO. Can you imagine?
41 years.
years.
That's impressive. That's
Yep.
impressive. He's done well.
The current co-president, who is Brad Beckham, will be promoted to CEO.
Okay. Congratulations.
I know, that's awesome. I love O'Reilly, especially because they moved into my tiny little hometown in Oklahoma. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it. All right. If you have alpha gal syndrome, you're not alone. Like, not even close to being alone. See, normally I'd have to explain alpha gal, and I'm about to, but like, I don't feel like I had to do it in the first sentence. Like, broadcast rules state that if no one has any clue what you're talking about, you explain it in the first sentence before you give the name of it. But there's so many people with it that I decided to lead with the alpha gal in the first sentence. Anywho, initially, CDC researchers thought about 100,000 people had alpha gal from a tick bite here in America. Now they believe that number to be closer to 450,000 people. That allergy is most commonly known to develop after a tick bite and then cause an allergic reaction to red meat, everything from beef, pork, venison, to milk, gelatin, or other mammal products. Interestingly, most cases have been in the eastern end of New York's Long Island, even though the tick most associated with alpha gal is called the Lone Star tick, which makes you think Texas.
Well, we have them here. We have friends who've had alpha gal, and it's no picnic. I know that. So, and it's weird because we have woods outside our house. Our kids are always in the woods, so they come back with ticks on them all the time. And I can't imagine having an allergic reaction to eating delicious things.
I
That would
know.
be awful.
We know actually several people. Like, I think I know 5, if I'm actually thinking about it in my brain right now, with alpha gal. One of them was healed, completely and totally healed. He's back on red meat and doing just fine.
Aha,
But I know.
that's cool.
It is cool. And so wild that it went from 100,000 people to 450,000 people in not very many years.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a new thing. I don't know where it came from or how it developed or what, but all of a sudden this thing started happening within the last, we heard about it in the last 5
2017,
years.
I believe. Well,
Yeah.
2017 is when they started studying it. And it's kind of interesting. The reason that they knew that that's what it was is because there's a certain sugar protein that's released when you eat red meat that apparently is in some sort, don't quote me on this, I'm not the scientist, but I read a lot about it. And so from what I remember, there's a sugar that's the same sugar that is released with some sort of a drug that they use to treat cancer. And so once they saw that marker, they're like, oh, wait, we know this marker. What is this? It was actually from that medication. And it's apparently the same thing that is released with tick spit when you get bitten.
That's gross.
It's kind of interesting, though, isn't it? Like how they figured out what the problem was. Yeah.
Tracked it down. Yeah. Reverse engineered. All right. Kansas City Chiefs are hopeful that a knee injury for wide receiver Kadarius Toney will heal up very quickly. Toney helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl last year, but he was just at practice and tweaked his knee at training camp. Andy Reid said Toney will attempt to be available by September 7th, which is actually not too far away if you think about it, when the Chiefs start the season and take on the Detroit Lions at Arrowhead. So all the fans hoping that he'll be ready as well. And then this is cool. Only 12 made the short list. 2 weeks ago, there were 12 and two different lists. 2 weeks ago, there were 60 names up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but not anymore. That list has been shrunk. The list has 12 candidates in the seniors category and 12 others in the coach contributor category. So now down to 24. On the short list with ties to the Chiefs, Otis Taylor and Albert Lewis, both, of course, members of the Chiefs Ring of Honor in the seniors category. They're still alive there. And former Chiefs head coach Marty Schottenheimer and scout Lloyd Wells in the coach contributor category. So that'll be whittled down some more, and we'll see if they make it. Good luck.
Yeah. Go Chiefs, go. The Ozark Empire Fair is underway. We like to give you the daily update because if you don't love the fair, that's your fault. And you can get 4 free tickets by going to aroundtheozarks.com. Subscribe to this podcast, which means it'll come daily to your inbox. So will the Wake Up Weather with Abby Dyer. So sign up at aroundtheozarks.com and you will be entered into a drawing to win those 4 free tickets. The fair is happening right now through August 5th.
Yeah, last night, Rick Springfield took the stage in Springfield at the Ozark Empire Fair.
What an appropriate name.
867-5309. Everybody knows that.
Is that Rick Springfield? Don't ask me music.
No.
It's like from yesterday.
No, it's Jesse's girl. That's
I
Tommy
thought
Two-Tone.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No, Tommy Two-Tone. Why did I do that? That's Tommy Two-Tone. 867-5309.
Look at me. I was right. I thought you were wrong.
Yeah,
so
no,
I wasn't
you're
going
right.
to question it. But then I was like, maybe I should sort of kind of question it because I'm pretty sure that I'm right. But Did you hear that?
Yeah, I don't know where that
I
came
answered
from.
a music trivia question, which has literally never happened in my entire life.
Well, that's exciting. I do it every day at Jeopardy at work.
I know.
Yeah,
Ethan
Jesse's
does have
girl.
lots
I don't
of
know why I
random
said
useless knowledge.
Don't know why I said the other. Anyway, he was on stage last night, and coming up Sunday on the KY3 Grandstand stage, we'll be Casting Crowns and Kane. They are contemporary Christian singers. And
yes,
good
and
bands.
bull riding over the weekend, by the way, like Friday, Saturday, bull riding.
This Friday, Saturday?
Right?
Or next one?
Yeah.
I think it's the next.
Next.
Monster
You're right.
Trucks, I think, are
Yes.
tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, I will have to check that. But there's a heat advisory until 9 o'clock tonight, which is right on schedule for the fair. So be aware of that. Only 96 tomorrow and only 95 on Sunday. So let's drop the heat advisory because people don't need to be advised about 96.
I walked around the fair 9 months pregnant, trying to get my second child to come out, but she didn't. So you can do it. You can do it at the fair. I'm confident.
If you want more weather, check out Abby's Wake Up Weather, where you get this podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And, man, we hope you have a great weekend.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.